ginger, selling spirits. But you see, they are not crying foul because they listen to the government call and saying, change your business plan, remodel. Now, there are things that keep on going. Among them is soap, the laundry bar soap. People are still dressing in spite of COVID. That means that the textile industry is still good. People still eat food. So agriculture is very, very important. People's children are still consuming cereals, but where are the cereals coming from? They are imported. So the one who is who knows that his cash cow or her cash cow was in importation of cereals, and your trader, your cash cow was importing cereals, because containers are not now taking 42 days, they're taking over more than 42 days.
Evelyn Anite, the State Minister of Finance in charge of investment and privatization. Let's switch sides and take you to Entebbe and talk to our reporter, Ivan Wolonyolo. He's talking about the plight of the teachers as they still wait for the 20 billion shillings that was actually promised to them by the government. A very good morning, Ivan Wolonyolo. What's the latest coming in from Entebbe?
Ramyo Busiku and our audience, I am coming to you from the Freedom Tree in Entebbe Municipality, Wakiso District. And it is almost 2 months since the second lockdown on schools. And we know very well in a series of our broadcast and news coverage, we have been bringing a series of private teachers who have been worst hit, and some of them have resorted to different businesses to earn a living. That some who have gone to bricklaying, others vending, and of course many other businesses in that direction. And there has been threats, especially on experts who have been weighing on education, whether these private teachers will be able to return to class after the lockdown or after schools are opened, given the fact that some of them are saying the business they're doing are be shaming them. They can no longer go back to class and stand before the pupils, students, and explain to them how they should study to make their life better. But well, of course, through that, government came out in the first lockdown and said that 20 billion shillings that were supposed to be given, support the teachers. But up to this time, some of them are saying that remained in mention. But of course, many, as that was mentioned by the president, had to form associations. And among them, of course, are the teachers in Entebbe. But joining me this beautiful morning is the chairperson of the Initiative for Teachers Advocacy in Entebbe, an umbrella that brings all the teachers together to just give us a sense of how teachers are doing in the area. What next? What do they think of the situation? And Stuart Rubwama is joining me this beautiful morning. A very good morning to you, Stuart.
A very good morning to you, Ivan.
The last time we were talking to you, you were making Rolex. Do you still make Rolex?
The challenges we got then, we are always persuaded by the motivational speakers who always tell you that you can begin any business with the small capital you have. In the same, it's where I fell, that I had all the savings I had, and I ended up making a Rolex stall. Something that at the end of it all, a business, you have to make it into the system. You have to attract customers. You find that the only capital that I had, it's what I invested. Now, on some occasions, you could find out that you make losses. And with time, you found that the business could not support itself because it was only the source of survival for me. And again, it was the same capital, so the same business where you could get the money.
Do you still personally make Rolex as a private teacher?
I no longer.
What happened?
The challenge was that the business demanded so much and the capital at hand could not sustain the business and also sustain me and my family.
What can you tell us with the current situation with the private teachers and your umbrella?
The situation is really dire. The situation is alarming. The teachers are lambasting and the teachers are suffering and they are dying miserably. Rent bills are so high and they are now doing the same jobs they had prophesied to their students, that when you do not study, you will end up in such businesses.
Laying bricks.
Teachers are laying bricks, teachers are vending onto markets, and others now are living or surviving on the masses of their relatives who are sending them pennies to take care of themselves and their families. And therefore, in such a situation, it is when things become a little bit ambiguous. When a government like this prioritized or promised to us 20 billion shillings in the first lockdown, you would find that this money was again mismanaged. And we have maybe, unless the government was the president was giving us just an empty promise. But if truly the president had given out this money, where did this money get lost from? The support center was saying that the microfinance support center, they were saying that the teachers never had institutions to make sure that they can get.
What do you say about it?
I think that is misplaced anger by the government and the so-called scientists who failed really to guide us properly. Because in the first place, they told us for any school to be opened, they have to have a certificate of compliance. Each school had to be either boarding or day. And schools did this. Schools complied, and we went into losses of buying these equipments to fulfill the standard operating procedures. The government is not giving us facts. Let them prove to us that the schools A, B, C, D, and D, they failed to make sure that they fulfill the standard operating procedures. For me, I think it was also another mistake for the government to close schools in the night, and by 8 a.m., we saw what was happening in tax parks. It is from here where our learners got the disease.
Stewart, government says they want to vaccinate 15 million people. 15 million students, pupils, before they open schools. When do you think this will be done?
That is a miracle I don't see happening any soon. Because we believe from after the first lockdown, you remember, we got of their own professional ethics. You are saying that when the government locked down the businessmen in Chikubo, they have been flooding the city. And within a few days, they are now back onto working. But for us teachers, we are hiding. We are here pretending to be bossy. We are professional. Yet ours and what belongs to us is being taken away by those who really don't even equate to a purpose of a teacher. They don't know even the future of this nation.
All right, and now let's switch sides and also go to Stephen Imbide. Yes, Stephen Imbide is in Natete Taxi Park
and
to talk about
prioritize
day 3 as the economy reopens in that regard. Very good morning, Stephen Imbide. What's the latest?